The green flag is back out and it's time to go racing. This weekend, the racing action takes place at the picturesque, famed Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Drivers, teams, and fans are ready for the fourth round of racing so far in 2020. So with that, it can only mean one thing. It's time to go sports car racing. Racing fans, crew members, IMSA staff, and the drivers all share one thing in common every summer: the overwhelming feeling of excitement for their annual trip to Road America. The track is a paradise of sorts for anyone who has a love for road racing. The 4-mile-long, 14-turn road course hosts a weekend of IMSA road racing every year, and it never ceases to be a fan favorite. The track tests drivers' bravery as well as the car's performance. Located in the small town of Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, the track is tucked away in the trees just a few miles southeast of Elkhart Lake itself. Only 17 miles west, off the banks of Lake Michigan, Road America falls victim to unexpected thunderstorms all summer long, shaking the racing up sometimes within just a few minutes. In fact, the property of Road America is so large that at times rain can reach a part of the track, changing racing conditions, while the other end of the sprawling circuit remains dry. Road America's layout is so unique that the track puts a premium on teams' engineering knowledge as well as their strategy choices, the car's handling abilities, and the driver's skill level, thanks to a multitude of different types of corners and straightaways. Everything from a long uphill run out of the final corner to the start-finish line to fast, flat corners like Turn 1 in the Carousel. From the S's to Canada Corner, this old racetrack truly features a little bit of everything. Road America is unlike any other racetrack, and Elkhart Lake is unlike any other town that IMSA visits all season long. The drivers love it, the teams love it, and thanks to all the action-packed racing and the incredibly fun atmosphere, the fans love it. There's nowhere else in the world like Road America, and IMSA Racing is about to show us exactly why. Two of the three DPI class victories so far in 2020 have gone to Cadillac. Mazda took the IMSA WeatherTech 240 at Daytona back on July 4th weekend, with Cadillac winning January's Rolex 24 at Daytona as well as the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sebring last weekend. Mazda is 3 points behind Cadillac in the manufacturer standings with a total of 102 to 99. There has not been a more dominant team in the GT Daytona category since IMSA's return to racing than that of AIM Vassar Sullivan. The number 12 and number 14 Lexus RCF GT3s each have scored Motul Pole Awards since the return, and the number 14 Lexus of Jack Hawksworth and Aaron Telitz have won both races since the return. It's been 3 races and 3 podiums for Joao Barbosa and Sebastian Bourdais in the number 5 JDC Miller Motorsports Mustang Sampling Cadillac DPI. But even they would have to admit that their most recent podium result at the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sebring was a bit of a surprise. Running 5th on the penultimate lap, Bourdais was catapulted to 3rd position after both Mazda DPIs running ahead of him on track ran out of fuel on the race's final lap. Corvette Racing is the winningest active team at Road America with 7 wins. Corvette Racing has 4 more wins than second place Action Express Racing. And Chevrolet is tied with Porsche as the winningest active manufacturer with 13 victories in Wisconsin. Meyer-Shank Racing did not compete in the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sebring as the race did not award points towards the full season IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship in the GT Daytona class, only the WeatherTech Sprint Cup. Points will be awarded for both championships at Road America, bringing back the number 57 Heinricher Racing with Meyer-Shank Racing and the number 86 Meyer-Shank Racing Acura NSX GT3s. Alvaro Parente and Misha Goikberg, as well as Mario Farnbacher and Matt McMurray, will pilot their respective cars. With 13 wins at Road America, Porsche and Chevrolet are 4 ahead of BMW, who has 9 wins. However, while Chevrolet hasn't won at Road America since 2016, Porsche has taken back-to-back wins in 2018 and 2019 in the GT Daytona category. The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship shows us just how competitive it is at the top level of North American endurance sports car racing, no matter what the category of car. But there is just something extra impressive about the title fight in the premier DPI category. DPI currently sees the Mazda Motorsports team of Tristan Nunez and Oliver Jarvis in their number 77 and the number 10 Wayne Taylor Racing Cadillac of Ryan Briscoe and Renger van der Zande tied for the championship lead, while Joao Barbosa's JDC Miller Motorsports Mustang sampling Cadillac that he shares with Sebastian Bourdais is a mere 2 points behind them in third position. DPI manufacturers, teams, and drivers will have a lot of work to do if they intend to match the ferocity and the excitement of the racing at Road America from just 1 year ago. Last season's trip to Elkhart Lake saw the Mazda and Acura teams engaged in a frantic race-long battle, but ultimately, it was Harry Tinknell staying out in front of Dane Cameron and keeping the sole red number 55 Mazda DPI far enough ahead to come home in first place by a mere 0.2 of a second ahead of the Acura. In the GT Le Mans category, we will have a new winner at Road America for the first time in 3 years, as Chip Ganassi Racing's 4 GTs have dominated this famous road course for the past 3 seasons. Now that the Ford GT program is over, the Corvette C8R, the Porsche 911 RSRs, and the BMW M8 GTEs will have this weekend's race for themselves as they all try to claim the top spot of the GT Le Mans podium. It promises to be a fantastic race as Corvette Racing will seek its 3rd consecutive GT Le Mans victory of this season, while Porsche is looking to reassert themselves after a disappointing race at the Cadillac Grand Prix of Sebring, where both cars were forced to pit to work out issues and rebound after an incident on pit lane. The LMP2 category has Patrick Kelly and Spencer Pigot at the top of the class, but only by 3 points ahead of Cameron Castles and Kyle Masson. Just a small mistake, and the tables could turn quite quickly in LMP2. The same could be said for the title fight in the GT Daytona category, where Jack Hawksworth and Aaron Telitz are showing the way in their Lexus. But even the smallest stumble could bring them down from the top of the points picture. Now, Canadian driver Zachary Robichon of Pfaff Motorsports will share some of what went into Pfaff's win last year at Road America in the highly competitive GT Daytona class aboard the team's Porsche 911 that he shared with Australian co-driver Matt Campbell.
My name is Zach Robichon, driver of the number 9 Pfaff Motorsports Porsche GT3R. So last year here at Road America we had a pretty fantastic race. We were just coming off our first win as a team at Lime Rock Park, and obviously going from the shortest track to the longest track, we weren't too sure how our results were going to translate to that track, and then had a little bit of a rough start to the weekend, but come qualifying we were able to get the car where we wanted, and we had a good first stint, had a little bit of luck with some other cars dropping out, and we're really much in touch with the leader. We were in second spot, and then after we did our driver change we had some really good pit stops and we were able to jump the other car, the Lamborghini actually, in our pit stops. So Matt Campbell was driving with me that weekend, and he was able to get in close to them and then again take the lead and keep the lead for the remainder of the race. So it ended up being a much less dramatic race victory than what we had at Lime Rock, but still obviously almost more satisfying in a way, because for me watching for the last part it was a lot less stressful than with Dennis at Lime Rock.
Hey guys, this is Renger van der Zande in the number 10 Konica Minolta Cadillac.
And Ryan Briscoe as well, and we're going to take you around a lap of Road America.
Here we are into turn 1. It's a big fight with the 31. Very fast corner into turn 1 is third, fourth gear corner, and using all the rumble strips on the exit.
Heading down into turn 3 here, this is a really important corner. Mostly important to get a really good exit because you're heading down the long back straight to turn 5 where it's going to be the biggest passing zone of the track.
Yeah, you want to be a bit closer here because if you want to make a move, it's a big braking zone where you can make a move, and actually the rear end of the car always becomes a little light because of that downhill, and you want to be on the inside here where there's most of the grip.
Yeah, it looks like the 31 was a little wide there, but you can see around this track there are some surface changes. You see it again here in 7 where you throw it in over the crest, the car gets light, but then it grips up at the apex.
This kink, you go flat out in qualifying new tires, not flat out with the old tires, and then into this left-hander big braking zone, and you want to have a good exit, but it doesn't really matter too much because here's the carousel already.
Yeah, you can see in the carousel and up ahead there is actually me driving the Ford GT last year, and this is where you see the biggest difference in speed between the DPIs and the GT cars. Very fast part of the track here, the kink, which is flat out, and hey, bye-bye Ryan, heading down now towards Canada Corner.
Yeah, Canada Corner, also a big downhill braking, and it's a little off camber going in, and again here the tarmac changes. If you know where to get the grip, it makes a big difference, but going uphill a lot, actually by walking or by bike you actually struggle to go up, but with the car we have a lot of horsepower to do that.
And now heading into the last corner, again you see that surface change where it really grips up in the middle. You want to get a really good exit again and head up the hill here. You've got the really long gear ratios here at Road America, so it's important to get every shift just right, and that's a lap of Road America.
A massive part of IMSA sports car racing is BOP. BOP stands for Balance of Performance, and it's what keeps the performance of the many different race cars in each class more equal. When BOP is done correctly, the vastly different race cars from all over the world that compete at IMSA races put on some of the most exciting races around. The job of nailing this incredibly complex balance of performance in order to get racing on track as close as possible falls on the shoulders of IMSA's Jeff Carter.
Coming out of a short race at Sebring, the WeatherTech Championship moves to Road America. A couple of small changes in BOP since we were at Sebring last week. One of them is a power change for the Acura in DPI, a slight power change, 0.3 of a millimeter for the Cadillac, some fuel capacity changes, but the big change is the overall fuel capacity for the GTLM and GTD cars. We've added 5 liters to each car. That will enable them on a 2-hour and 40-minute race not to be short and able to do a 2-stop race. By doing this, we take away the fuel savings so the guys can run full speed. So we're hoping that this change in capacity will allow them to comfortably do 2 stops at Road America. This will enable good, close, fast racing without fuel saving.
And it's time to go racing here in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship at the beautiful Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. The green flag flies, and it's the Acuras battling with the Mazda. Just as we saw in qualifying, it continues here in racing. The green flag is waved, and 2 hours and 40 minutes of on-track action is underway. The number 55 Mazda already trying to get racy at the very front of the field, bringing the fight to the Acuras. The number 77 Mazda back there in 4th position as well, with a host of Cadillacs running 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th as they make their way down the hill out of turns 3. They'll head for turns 4, and underneath the Sargento Bridge, we are racing here in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. There's the number 6 Acura looking high, now looking low, trying to find his way around the Mazda, but the 55 defends hard on the brakes heading into turn number 5. The Acura is going to make the pass around the high side. The number 6 Acura now goes to 2nd position as both Team Penske Acuras run 1 and 2 here on the race's opening lap. A little bit farther in, we check in with GT Le Mans class leader. That's the number 3 Corvette C8R of Jordan Taylor out in front, but not by a lot. Ahead of 2nd place, Lawrence Vanthor in the number 912 Porsche for Porsche GT Racing. There you go, Jordan Taylor making his way underneath the Sargento Bridge. We check back in now with the DPI class leaders. The Acuras, the Mazdas going wheel to wheel, and that looks like the number 7 Mazda of Helio Castroneves working around both Mazdas out of turn 5. What a move by Castroneves here, with an hour and a half of racing still to go. But Castroneves' day is not done, as now he'll have to deal with lap traffic in the form of GT Daytona cars, both the number 12 and the number 14 Lexuses of Aim Vassar Sullivan. The Mazdas doing everything they can to stick right to him, and the rain beginning to fall here just inside of 1 hour to go, and the number 31 Cadillac from Whelen Engineering Racing goes off with the track getting wetter and wetter. Looks like possibly the final corner on the track. Leaders pitting here to put on fresh, wet weather Michelin tires to try to handle these adverse conditions. Still over 50 minutes of racing. Big accident here for one of the Porsches. Wipes out heading into turn 1 and will not be able to keep it out of the barriers. That's the number 912. That's race leader Earl Bamber in the race leading Porsche. Oh, terrible luck, as a full course yellow is now displayed for Bamber. They will need to go retrieve that 912 Porsche. Leaders coming out of the final corner. Green flag waves. One of the Mazdas hitting pit lane. Under 10 minutes to go here. Renger van der Zande leads them up the hill, heading towards the start-finish line. Just a few laps left. Van der Zande, your leader, Castro Neves, in second position, having to work around lap traffic. One of the DPIs in front of him, the yellow JDC Miller Motorsports car, a lap down here. So it's Castro Neves in P2, Bomarito with the Mazda in third, Pippo Durrani in the number 31 recovering well for fourth place. Bourdais is fifth, and Mazda's Oliver Jarvis on pit lane currently scored in the sixth position. Getting down to the very end of this one, battle for the lead here in DPI, as that is going to be Helio Castroneves, the three-time champion of the Indianapolis 500, brings the fight to Renger van der Zande in that number 10 for Wayne Taylor Racing, Konica Minolta's Cadillac. Oh, and van der Zande drops the tires on the exit of turn 14. Van der Zande gives the lead away, and Castroneves says thank you very much, as he will fly underneath the starter stand, seeing 5 minutes to go. Castroneves and Acura Team Penske leading the way here in the waning laps at Road America. White flag in the air. Big incident over in the kink, as it's another Porsche. This time the 911 is off on the back straightaway, and one of the BMWs. Those are GT Le Mans rivals. The BMW, and it looks like the number 24 and the 911 Porsche. So that will bring out a full course yellow, and the race will end for Helio Castroneves and Acura Team Penske, scoring the win in the rain, surviving the conditions here at Road America. Van der Zande finishes second. Pippo Durrani rounds out the DPI podium. Ben Hanley getting the job done in LMP2, while the number 3 Corvette scores the victory in GT Le Mans for Corvette Racing. And it looks like the number 12 Lexus RCF will score the victory. Townsend Bell behind the wheel right there, as the number 86 of Mario Farnbacher and Townsend Bell's teammate and sister car, the number 14 of Hawksworth, will round out the GT Daytona podium here at Road America. IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship standings. DPI class. LMP2 class. GT Le Mans. GT Daytona.
The Michelin Pilot Challenge comes out of Sebring, headed to Road America, 4-mile natural terrain road course, longest track we go to all year. Unfortunately, the race last weekend in Sebring was a wet race, red flagged for lightning. We only had about 20 minutes of green flag running in changing conditions in terms of wet and dry track, so we didn't have a very good read. The IMSA Technical Committee elected to make no changes to the GS class. However, in the TCR class, the Hyundai Velociter has been taking advantage of everybody, winning everything. The folks at WSC that manage TCR, the global BOP, they've made a slight change of power to the Hyundai Velociter. 2.5% boost now. They're down to 90% of what they can achieve in terms of boost going to Road America. We'll see how that pans out.
It has been an intense return for the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge, as the series 2020 season restarted just a couple of weekends ago at the Sebring International Raceway and will be back in action this week at Road America. The 4-mile track in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin is a fan favorite. hosting the third round of 10 in this year's IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge, and features a vast grid of 33 sports cars split between both the Grand Sport and the TCR class. The drivers of the number 21 Hyundai Veloster may have crossed the finish line in second, but after post-race penalties removed the first-place finishing car from the top of the podium, Gottsacker and Felipe were named the winners in Wisconsin. Following a driver lineup change at Brian Herta Autosport with Kerb Agajanian for 2020, Gottsacker just scored his second win in the Pilot Challenge 2 weeks ago at Sebring in the number 21 Hyundai Veloster TCR with Mark Wilkins. Felipe and his new co-driver, Michael Lewis, in the number 98, will look to do the same this weekend at Road America. But no matter what happens in 2020 at Road America, it will be very, very hard to top the nail-biting last lap and photo finish from 1 year ago that went to the Rebel Rock Racing Chevy Camaro of Robin Liddell and Frank Depew. Liddell jumped from 4th to 1st on the race's final lap to narrowly snatch the race lead and ultimately the victory from Compass Racing's Kuno Whitmer, who accidentally pressed the pit road speed limiter instead of the radio button as he went to radio his crew to celebrate as he approached the checkered flag. As Whitmer decelerated, Liddell drove his number 71 Camaro GT4 right past the slowing Whitmer to score the win by a scant 0.07 of a second, the closest finish in Michelin Pilot Challenge history. The Rebel Rock Racing pairing of Liddell and Depew returned to Wisconsin to defend their race win. So with that, let's take a look back at the highlights from this year's version of the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge at Road America. And the green flag is out, and we're racing at Road America in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge, round 3 of the 2020 season for drivers in both the GS and TCR category. The field tiptoes their way through the fast right-hander in turn number 1, the Aston Martin leading the way after securing the Motul pole in qualifying earlier this weekend. Cars get on the brakes hard as they set up for the right-hander turn number 3. A little bit of side-by-side racing. That's the Turner Motorsports BMW on the outside with the Multimatic Ford Mustang down on the inside. But as the track gets ready to set up for the left-hander, the positions change. The BMW will now occupy the inside and the Multimatic Ford on the outside. Checking in a little bit later here should be the battle for the race lead, I believe, in the TCR category, and it is Max Faulkner in the number 23 trying to hold off Harry Gottsacker in the number 21 Hyundai Veloster. This is the fight for the top spot in TCR as they go side by side getting ready for the braking zone, and it's going to be Gottsacker getting the top spot in big time fashion, heading to the kink. That takes a lot of guts. Farther into the race, pit stops now. Looks like the number 29 of Brockman doing a quick driver change here and a fresh set of Michelin Slick racing tires going on. In the GS category, that Aston Martin, Kyle Marcelli driving it currently, working on getting around slower TCR traffic just ahead of him. The Aston Martin has been perfect so far here today at Road America. Kyle Marcelli doing the job right now, just trying to tiptoe his way through the TCR field and hold on to a near 8-second advantage over Jeff Westphal in that number 39 Audi. Corey Lewis in the number 39 McLaren currently runs in third. Field makes their way into the carousel here. Such a technical part of the track, that long right-hander that sets you up for the kink and then the run through kettle bottoms down the back straightaway here at Road America. Marcelli just doing everything he can to get around the TCR Alfa Romeo right in front of him. There we see third place. That should be the, now second place. The number 3 of Corey Lewis has gotten around the 39 Audi. So there you see that McLaren of Corey Lewis marching through the field up to second. What can he do? Can he chase down race leader? And it looks like he has. Lewis takes over the top spot right as the number 69 Aston Martin hits pit lane for VP Racing Fuel and 4 fresh Michelin tires. Oh, the Aston Martin crew has to be quick here as Corey Lewis gets around traffic. He is now the leader in the GS category. Almost 30 minutes of racing left to go here. Lewis finding himself in a good battle with some GS cars here. He's got to be smart. He leads the way, and he sees the white flag. 1 lap to go. The Murillo Racing Mercedes right in front of Corey Lewis here. He's got 4 miles and 14 corners left to negotiate. Oh, big incident here coming out of what looks like the carousel. That's the Mercedes AMG car number 4. absolutely destroying the front end of that race car. Again, coming through the backside of the racetrack. No, that was actually coming into turn 5. Yeah, there you see it. That's the exit, and huge incident right there for the number 4 Mercedes. That means this race will end under a full course yellow as the leaders have to navigate themselves through a minefield of debris. The checkered flags wave, and Corey Lewis was patient, picked up the positions when he could, and brings his McLaren home in first place. Meanwhile, in the TCR category, there you see the number 33 of Gabby Chavez scoring the win, with Parker Chase right behind him in second. Wilkins rounding out the podium. Brian Hurd Autosport with Curb Agajanian getting the victory once again here at Road America in the very, very competitive TCR class. IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge point standings. GS class. The TCR class.
It's fantastic, you know, I mean, we haven't been on the podium yet, and then we go straight to the top, so that's how we roll. You know, Ryan did an absolutely amazing job. I think he went from like 6th to 1st in like 3 laps, which was unbelievable. So that just made my job easier. It's always a lot easier to manage your tires and fuel from the front. So amazing. I mean, we had our Hyundai Veloster N TCR car was on rails today. So, I mean, so proud of the guys. We worked really hard during like the quarantine. We'll call it off-season or mid-off-season. And we just came back and we're better prepared than every other team out there, and it's showing.
Drivers, start your engine!
Well, folks, that'll do it for another episode of IMSA Road to Racing. We thank you for tuning in and hope you'll keep up with all the on and off-track action by following IMSA_racing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the road.